Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, June 28th, 5:27 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures down 6 1/4 at 554 3/4. November soybeans down 12 at 1282 1/4. December Chicago wheat down 2.5 at 713 3/4. December Kansas City wheat down 1 1/4 at 839 1/4. December spring wheat down a half cent at 853 1/4. Mackenzie, let's start off with price action here.
So the December 2023 corn contract peaked near $6.30 per bushel on June 21st amid crop concerns and a building U.S. drought. The contract lost more than 75 cents per bushel from the June 21st high to the overnight low. The November 2023 soybean contract peaked at $13.78 per bushel on June 21st. And has since lost more than 90 cents per bushel. The contract lost 29 cents just yesterday. Traders are reacting to a probable shift in U.S. weather patterns and appear disinterested in declining U.S. crop ratings.
All right, guys, we understand that this is incredibly frustrating for a lot of you guys. If you're in an area that has not seen material rainfall in several weeks, you're very much drought stricken. You're in one of these areas of, say, eastern Nebraska or parts of Kansas or Missouri or central Illinois or parts of Iowa. I mean, there are pockets all across the country that haven't seen rain. We understand this is incredibly frustrating, and it is. Your crops are going backwards. At the same time, the markets are going backwards. This is a tough deal. I've seen this before many times, where you'll run into a weather pattern in June or July, and the markets will fall apart on it. And that's what we're seeing right now. The difference this time around is, how dry it is. I mean, to pull up that drought monitor again, it's like you typically, I haven't seen it in my career, I don't think, where we've been this dry and then you see this sort of collapse during the growing season. But you know what? A lot of people would make the argument, we'll talk about this here in a second, that if these rains do come to fruition, if these forecasts are accurate, that there's still a lot of potential in these crops. So let's jump to the forecast here.
Yeah, so weather forecasts are decidedly wetter again this morning for key areas of the central U.S. Corn Belt. The WPC, Euro, and GFS models agree that rain will fall across parts of Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky over the next 5 days. We have not seen this type of agreement in the models regarding Corn Belt rains in several weeks. Row crop prices are lower this morning amid a probable shift in the weather pattern. In addition to the forecast, rain moved across parts of Iowa and Minnesota here early this morning.
Okay, so you have rain on the radar. You have some tangible evidence that these forecasts are not total nonsense, right? This is the first time in a long time that I've seen all of this stuff line up, especially like on these shorter term maps, like this 5-day WPC map. I have not seen this purple color across Illinois in weeks, and now you've got it in the forecast. I mean, they're talking some areas of Illinois are going to catch 2 inches of rain over the next 5 days in total. I know you guys will believe it when you see it, but the way that it's set up, the way that you've got all three of these different forecasts kind of in agreement here, that's something we haven't seen, and I think the trade is very much convinced that we're in for a shift here. And if you do get that shift, if this comes in as advertised or better, a lot of people would argue that you've still got the crop potential. And I understand that this is not an easy pill to swallow for a lot of you guys if you are in a really dry area. And have we taken the top end off yield in regard to corn and soybeans, maybe corn in particular? Yeah, maybe, but we don't need to do 181 to push prices lower. I don't think necessarily.
So if you guys are not already subscribed to our premium content, you sure need to do so. Joe, tell me about the video you put together yesterday.
Don't shoot the messenger here, but just because the drought monitor looks like 2012 doesn't mean that it will end like 2012. 1992 was an incredibly interesting year in which we started very dry and ended up with record corn yields. I did a video about this yesterday. Mackenzie, you helped me with this. You put together some really great charts. And then as always, guys, Sunday nights during June and July, why the pre-open weather update video is a must-watch deal. We send this out about an hour before the markets open on Sunday. We talk about the weather forecasts, models, what's changed, what it means for the markets potentially. If you guys want to see the premium stuff, go to standardgrain.com, sign up this morning. I'll shoot you over that 1992 video as soon as you sign up early this morning. This is a $50 per month subscription. Cancel at any time. No other fee, no other obligation. Nobody will try to sell you anything else, guys. Check it out today.
So USDA will release its planted acreage and grain stocks report on Friday. Ahead of the report, traders estimate that U.S. corn acreage declined slightly compared to March intentions. Soybean acreage is thought to have risen slightly. June 1st stocks of corn, soybeans, and wheat are expected to be down compared to the same period last year. This report is often associated with a significant degree of market volatility.
Yep, big market mover at the end of June. Very often, there is not anything exciting at all. Nobody's looking for any major changes in the acreage numbers. Something will surprise us here, would be my guess. We're looking for essentially a small shift away from corn and into soybeans versus March intentions. I feel like there's going to be a shakeup somewhere just because there almost always is. In regard to grain stocks, yeah, we're going to be lower year over year. It's just by a question of how much. So be prepared for some volatility come Friday morning.
So Putin claims that a civil war was averted. The Wagner Group's chief, who led the weekend rebellion in Russia, landed in Belarus on Tuesday. Also on Tuesday, the Russian Federal Security Service closed a criminal investigation into the group. The Kremlin and state media continue to praise the support for Vladimir Putin from world leaders. Preparations are now being made to transfer heavy weaponry from the mercenaries to the Russian army. The weekend rebellion highlighted deep divisions inside Russia over the faltering war in Ukraine.
Well, if anybody did buy wheat on the prospect of a Russian civil war, they are in very sorry shape this morning. So the thing in regard to the wheat market in particular has shifted pretty drastically. We had kind of a rally attempt in place. Wheat was following row crops. You had this Russia story that maybe was traded a little bit like Sunday into Monday. I don't know. We had some false breakouts on the charts in wheat. Everything's kind of reverted back lower. So again, we're back to the situation here where, the Russia deal is a non-starter. U.S. wheat's overpriced. And now we're also following row crop prices lower.
Brazil's president has increased subsidized farm loans. The president of Brazil has unveiled a plan to provide $76 billion in financing for medium and large producers. That's a 27% increase from the previous cycle. The plan is considered a crucial component for improving ties with the ag industry and boosting production. The plan will include an 81% increase in resources for the construction of storage facilities, which is needed due to a record grain harvest last season that has caused a storage deficit. The plan would also reduce interest rates for producers who implement environmentally friendly practices.
Brazil is not going away in terms of being a huge competitor when it comes to soybeans and now corn also on the export market. They're going to continue to get bigger. They're going to continue to really just wipe the floor with us in terms of soybean production. They're going to continue to increase every year, where the only way we're going to increase is through yield improvement, not through acreage. We don't have additional acres to put into rotation here in the United States. So Brazil with some subsidies. This is not anything that policy is not going to move the market here today, but certainly something to be aware of.
So a little bit more on Brazil. Their 2023 soybean crop is expected to set a new record. According to the Brazilian Association of Vegetable Oil Industries, Brazil's soybean production this year is expected to reach a record 156 million tons. The previous record was set back in 2021 at 139.5 million tons. The USDA is also predicting a crop of 156 million tons in Brazil. Brazilian soybean exports are forecast to hit an all-time high of 97 million tons this year, up from 95.7 million tons in the previous forecast.
No shock here. So this new estimate from this group is right on par with where USDA has estimated the crop. The deal here is that this huge Brazilian crop is going to impact our demand base in the United States for some time here. I've discussed at length in the podcast here how the new crop book of soybean export sales is terrible. And that's typically, it's going to be 40-45% of your demand base. And it's just not where it needs to be. We haven't seen the Chinese buying for new crop delivery. We haven't seen buying from anybody else really. We're not where we need to be, and a lot of that has to do with this monster Brazilian crop and these the prospect for record exports. Cattle were higher yesterday.
Yeah, they sure were. They were supported by declining corn futures. Feeder cattle futures closed an average of 402 higher. They were up anywhere from 345 to 497. Live cattle futures closed an average of 155 higher, ranging from 122 to 205 higher. Cash cattle trade hasn't taken off yet this week. Choice box beef ended the day on Tuesday at 329.23. That was down 381. Select ended the day at 298.43. That was down a buck 24.
Big recovery day yesterday. Outside markets this morning, guys. U.S. dollars up just a little bit. Stocks are mixed. Bonds up a little bit. Crude oil is up 38 cents in the August WTI, 68.08 last trade. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you Thursday.